somebody who I've really grown to admire and love over the last number of years. She's got an incredible story with her husband, John, and I've asked her just to join us this evening. So Debs, if you could just turn your video on for me for a second. There we are. Okay, give me a second. I am going to make you bigger because you're so small up in the top of my screen. Debbie, this is Debbie Cunningham, everybody. Good evening, Debs. How are you?
Hi, Drew. Thank you for having me this evening.
Well, thank you for taking time out of your schedule and agreeing to join me. We so appreciate it. Now, Debs, we're going to get stuck straight into it because I know load shedding is hitting in not too long. But Debs, you and John have had a magnificent journey with this company. Tell us what made you decide. What made you decide to become a NeoLife distributor? What was going on in your life at the time? And what's happened to you along the way?
Lots. Yeah, true. I'm always quite willing to share our story. We came from Zimbabwe and we landed in South Africa with 750 Rand and 3 children at the time. And John was in a position where he was in the prison service, but he couldn't get a job here. And we were actually told just to get out the country, which we did. So all we had was our Peugeot, which was stuck together with coat hangers. And people from Zimbabwe will know what I'm talking about because they kept their cars stuck together with coat hangers. And 3 children and everything that we could carry out of that country we had with us. And so John looked for a position. He found a position in construction and what have you. And from there we went on to our own little business. We had a 4th child, and that's when troubles happened. We started to contract to other companies, and they went under and they didn't pay us. Now we owed money, but we weren't getting money from them. So we had to do something. And that's when someone showed us NeoLife. They said, come along to a meeting. This might be something that you can do. So we went along to a meeting. John was very negative. He said, look, this sounds like a scam and what have you. I'm not interested. This is not for us. I said, well, and I'm a bookkeeper. I said, there's no risk. I mean, at that stage, the startup kit was far, far more than what it is now. And we got products. So I said to him, look, there's no risk. We've got the products. If anything happens, and we've still got the products. So I said, well, you do it. So I said, okay, I'll do it. Anyway, I went to my first big meeting, and I came back and I said, John, you know, there's a lot of money in this business. Please, I need your help. We can do this together. So that's when we started to do it together. And we couldn't find the money to start the business, Drew. So what I did, I went into the garage, and you know how men love to hoard things in garages. You could hardly move in our garage. I mean, there was a tailgate there for a bucky. We didn't even have a bucky, but John thought it might be useful later on. There were all sorts of things in that garage. So what I did is I took everything I could out of the garage. He was at work. I took everything out, put it on the pavement, stuck a label on it telling me how much it was. Just doesn't matter how much it was, as long as whatever was on the pavement was going to pay for my kit. And that's how we got started, because we certainly didn't have the money. And when we got started, I'd just like to tell the distributors here and the guests, it's not up to anyone else to make you successful. It's up to you. And what happened with us, we paid our sponsor the money, whereas now you can go direct to NeoLife. But we paid our sponsor the money. They got our kit. And it was about 2 weeks of begging this person for my kit. I mean, that money was our bread and butter. So anyway, to cut a long story short, I said, listen, don't worry about opening the kit for me. Just put it in your car, meet you wherever you are. She says, I'm doing gym or whatever. So I said, okay. We went there. She took the kit out of her boot, put it in my boot, and we went home. Well, when I got home, the children and John, we sat on the carpet, we opened up the kit ourselves, we did all the product from our manual, we read what was Super 10 was meant to do, what LDC was meant to do. So we did all that from reading the manual, and then we practiced around the house, and we had such fun. The children had fun, we had fun, and it was really great. And there was nutrition in there, the Formula 4. And, John and I, we didn't believe in supplements. I mean, we had a balanced diet. As long as you have three vegetables on your plate with your meat in the evening, that's your balanced diet. That's how we were brought up. Anyway, after just a week of taking this product, we felt so much better. We couldn't believe the change. And went to work, put this bottle on my desk, and before I knew it, people wondered why I had so much energy. And that's how we started. They wanted more energy, then they wanted the product at my price, a discount price. So that's what we did. And our whole aim in starting the business, everybody says you must have a dream. Our dream was just to get out of debt. We did not want to owe those people the money that they had given us in good faith, just because someone let us down. And I think we owed quite a bit of money on that. We stayed in rented homes, and we moved so many times because they kept selling the homes underneath us. But with that extra money, we just paid off the debt. Eventually our debt was paid off, and we could put a nice big deposit on a home, and we started to have better cars. And our holidays, Drew, when we went on holiday, because once, you've got to have a holiday, we'd go to Winkelspruit, put up a tarpaulin and sleep underneath, or have an old battered caravan or whatever it was. And that was our holiday, and that was like for 3 or 4 days. So I never, ever want to go back to camping. And now with NeoLife, well, we've been all overseas. It's been absolutely incredible. And you mentioned the compensation plan, Drew. The other day, out of the blue, I've never checked my what I get from NeoLife. I know they're 100% correct. Brandon actually phoned me and said, Debbie, do you know that we short paid you last month by 130 something rand? It must have been something from overseas, one of our people from overseas. And we're going to put it in your account. I said, wow, Brandon, thank you. We would never have missed that. But the integrity of the company was just so fantastic. And that's one of the other reasons as well. When we had our own business, we were not business people. I mean, I was just a cash book clerk at that stage, and John was a rep, a salesman. So the money came in and we spent it so fast. We didn't know how to look after our money. We didn't know how to grow. We didn't know how to speak properly, dress properly, none of that. And that all came from personal growth. And I really believe that personal growth was part of our success today. Because now when we go on holiday, as you know, we go with NeoLife. We've been to quite a few places now, overseas to NeoLife. One of the big trips was to Mexico, Cancun, all paid for. Now, I mean, just for one ticket to Cancun and back, just the plane ticket costs over 15,000 rand. And it was all paid for John and I to go to Mexico and come home, have a wonderful time there. We took 2 weeks there, and it was absolutely fantastic. We've had a life-changing experience. And then with the product side, I'd just like to share a little bit of a product testimony, if I may. At one stage, I had a terrible tummy bug, so the doctor said, and I was busy loading trucks because I was in export. Because of all my personal growth, it helped us in our work situation, and I got promotions and what have you. And it was all thanks to the training we get at NeoLife. I was busy loading trucks and I really was not well. And I went to the doctor and he said, no, I had a tummy bug. Anyway, because of the truck loading business, I stayed at work, but that was on the Tuesday. On the Friday, my friend said to me, my colleague at work, she said, Debbie, you need to get a second opinion. This is not a tummy bug. You are sick. So I said, okay. So I went to another doctor, and that was at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. After work, after I'd loaded a truck for Kenya, I went to her at about 5 o'clock. She took samples and things, and she said, you're going to Hillcrest Hospital. You're going right now. I'll phone them. They'll be waiting for you. John put me in the car from that surgery, from the doctor's rooms, straight up to Hillcrest, booked me in, and by 6 o'clock, I was in theatre having an operation. My appendix had burst, probably on Tuesday. And when he operated, he came to me afterwards and he said, you know, you are a very sick lady. You were a very sick lady. You actually had a cyst, almost the size of a tennis ball. And that was all the muck from the burst appendix. Because my immune system was so high from all the nutrition that we take, my body had preserved it, and I could have had septicemia. As you know, it's bad to have an appendix. So, yeah, as far as the money is concerned and as far as the business is concerned, it's the best decision we have ever made.